M Conway have always been ahead of their competitors in anticipating the demands of a changing environment and the demands of a changing cultural and political landscape too. Back in 2004, M Conway realised that there was a big opportunity lying in the drains at the side of our roads. This was something called gully waste. They knew that dealing with it and turning it into a reusable resource could help the many London boroughs the company worked for to be greener and more sustainable. It was a visionary move, one that combined efficiency with sustainability and helped M Conway's customers meet most of the demands of the Mayor of London's green procurement rules. Put simply, it was good for everyone concerned. When it comes to term maintenance contracts on the roadways and footways of London and the South East, M Conway is known as one of the most forward-thinking and innovative infrastructure services contractors, serving almost 60% of the London boroughs and county councils in the region. A small percentage of gully waste was being recycled, but not in a sophisticated way, and M Conway recognised a good opportunity. They could recycle the waste to a much higher level, giving them aggregates, sand and water, natural resources that are much in demand in the South East. Gully waste is produced when water, mainly rain, washes all kinds of debris, including ordinary rubbish, soil and sand, into the roads. All that collects in the gullies, and most of the water runs down into the drains. But the rest of the material forms into a thick sludge that builds up over time. M Conway sends out its specially equipped trucks to suck up all that sludge and bring it back to its state-of-the-art facility in Dartford, Kent. The company built this drainage treatment plant to deal with the gully waste. And they made sure that it had a big capacity. It can in fact deal with all the gully waste in London, Kent, Sussex and Surrey. In all, the plant can deal with up to 30,000 tonnes of gully waste every year. Any floating bits of plastic, like discarded bottles or packaging, are removed and sent to a third-party recycling plant. Any organic materials or volatile substances are also removed. It then screens out the grit. Any spillages that might occur are all captured and reused. 60% of gully waste is water which is all conserved, so that no additional water is required to run the site. But recycling the waste in our drains is only half the story of their recycling innovation. M Conway had realised before anyone else the coming need to find an alternative, renewable resource to meet the ever-growing requirements of construction and road building in this country. They could see that Britain's quarries only represented a finite resource, and that soon an alternative source of aggregate would be needed. It was this vision that prompted Michael Conway to look to the recycled materials coming off our roads and demolition sites on a daily basis. Material that until now was filling our ever-growing landfill sites.
We take the recycled materials to a new level, which we don't think anyone else is doing. So we've done case studies before for the City of London where we will excavate the carriageway and we bring it back to Dartford, we'll crush it and wash it, put it back into a concrete lorry and then re-deliver it back up to that same job in the city.
That's why on the other side of the Dartford site, in the crusher and aggregate wash plant, the reclaimed water from the DTP is used to wash the highway arisings, reclaimed from road and construction sites and imported to the site daily for recycling, as well as the stones taken from the DTP. These are sent to the crusher, which grinds them down to parts that are no bigger than 50 millimetres. This is followed by a screening process where they are assessed for size, and any piece that's too big is automatically rejected and sent back to the crusher. The radial conveyor then sends the remainder into 0 to 50 mil and 0 to 20 mil stockpiles. The larger grain material is separated off for use as Type 1 sub-base for road construction. The 0 to 20 mil aggregate is then washed to produce sand and 4 to 20 mil stones, which are then mixed back together to create ballast for concrete. This then goes into the company's sophisticated concrete mixer volumetric trucks, which take it out to construction sites where they're able to deliver exactly the amount of concrete that's needed when it's needed, with no waste. Each truck is weighed to make sure they're fully laden to keep down the number of empty journeys that are such a feature on Britain's roads. FM Conway have reduced these to well below 10%. So FM Conway's approach to gully and construction waste delivers construction materials that are more sustainable and kinder to the environment. They clean the waste in a sustainable way. They salvage and reconstitute aggregates that can be used to build or repair more roads and other projects. They recycle all arisings and reuse them to maintain and renew our road network. In the last 12 months, Conways have saved over 5.5 million kilograms of carbon dioxide by using recycled materials rather than traditional virgin aggregates. It's a green, environmentally friendly approach, which is just what London's mayor and all the local authorities in the region want.
Recycling is in our DNA, so much so that everything we do, everything we think about, our whole day-to-day process of constructing roads in London is produced with recycled materials.
FM Conway's long-term investment is helping to deliver greener, sustainable roads and much-needed materials for the construction industry at a time when more traditional resources are beginning to dwindle. It's a pioneering approach to sustainability that's making a real difference out on the streets of London and the South East.